Multi-class racing etiquette. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Handwork. Welcome to another video. I want to talk tonight about racing multi-class races. My entire career from the club level to the pro level has been in multi-class racing. And now that I've gotten into sim racing, I've ventured into multi-class racing again. Mainly the leagues that I've been doing with the SCCA and with AER, it's multi-class. And once I've done some racing with these groups, I've definitely noticed some trends that I'd like to address. I guess it's the instructor in me and not being able to go teach any students because we're all on lockdown. I had to get it out this way. So in the real world, we have, I guess, like mentorship schools that people go to where they can learn. So these lessons, they come up and they get taught and people learn, or they don't learn and they don't last in the sport for very long. Sim racing is different. Sim racing, anyone can do this and jump in and you wreck your car, you hit the restart button and no problem, you're back in it. You do it in the real world, and assuming you're not hurt or haven't killed somebody and assuming you get to keep your license, you can try again if you have the money to fix the car and the time. So it's interesting to go from one world to another and see some of the same actions, but then some very different actions as well. So basically what I wanted to go over, some etiquette, particularly in multi-class racing when you're doing passing out of class, or with classes or same class car, but who's off the pace or is a lap down, something like that, where it's not a hard fought pass for position. So imagine it's the closing laps and you're battling for position and you come up on a out of class car or a lapped car and they're going on one side of the track. You think everything's good. You make your move, and the next thing you know, they jump in front of you and pow, you guys are both out of the race. I've seen it so many times. I've seen it in the real world. I've seen it a lot more in the virtual world in these past few weeks. So with the spread of experience and knowledge that we deal with in these kind of leagues, this is an opportunity for some people to learn. And that's why I love doing what I do, is the opportunity to educate people and watch them take that information, that knowledge, and put it to use. So that's my goal for this video, is to get some people more educated about how to behave on track. So I'm going to go into a few different things. We're going to go into the techniques, what's expected, that kind of stuff, and then also some specific tools in iRacing that you can use that'll help make your life a little bit easier. All right. So there's one thing that I hear, and it's true, but it has an asterisk next to it. Okay. It's the passing car's responsibility to make the pass safely. Yes, it is, but the car being passed can't just wash its hands of the situation, all right? Two cars are involved in this. It takes two people to make this happen. Saying, oh, well, he's passing me, I don't have to worry about it. That's bullshit, okay? If you care about getting around the track as quickly as you can, you're going to want that car to pass you quickly and cleanly. You're not going to just say, oh, he's got to deal with it. People who have that mentality, change it. Don't think like that. You guys have to share the track. You're both there. You both have a right to it. Make it through the passing situation quickly and cleanly. All right? So I'm going to talk about the car being passed and the car doing the passing. The car being passed. To get through this situation safely. Now, again, like I said, this is out of class or not for position, like a lap car, something like that. If you're battling, that's a whole different story about, that could be a whole other video about passing, but this passing is different, okay? So let's say you're the slow car and you're being passed. Maintain your line, okay? No sudden moves. Don't think you need to get out of the faster car's way. You don't have to. Stay on line. The faster car will get by you, okay? Last couple races that I've done at Watkins Glen specifically, coming up out of the S's on the back straight. I'm in a faster class car, and then there's a slower class car. The slower class car that I've seen is driving on the right-hand side of the track. That is the wrong side of the track to be on. You do not want to be on that side of the track. You want to be on the left-hand side of the track so you can make a better line into the bus stop. Any car that's driving on the right-hand side of the track is at some point going to have to make a transition to the left. Why would you want to put yourself in that position? Okay, so now you get down towards your braking zone, you're on the wrong side of the track, now you've got to abruptly swerve over to get to your braking point, and you're turning on the left-hand side. If you're not checking your mirrors, there's a very good chance that somebody's going to be coming along. If you decide not to make that move and you stay on the right-hand side, you basically have to stop to make it through the bus stop because now you're on the wrong side of the track. You have no angle of attack for that corner. So stay on the correct side of the track. Stay on line. The fast car will pass you offline, and if you guys are doing it right, everything's going to happen quickly, painlessly, and you're going to both go about your race, okay? Be ready for anything, all right? If you're the slow car, be ready for anything. Passing car could squeeze you off the track or move over abruptly before clearing you and clip you, okay? The passing car could miss its marks, all right? And now they go sailing off the track in front of you. Don't get fixated on that car, all right? If that car now gets in front of you and makes a mistake and goes off, if you take your focus from the corner and put it on that car, there's an excellent chance that you're going to go off the track with it. I mean, it's amazing how many cars you'll see. They go wide in the corner, and if they're in a line, next 2-3 cars, they follow right off. So keep the focus on your apex, looking into the corner. Keep your eyes off the car that's passing you, all right? Don't fight the faster car. Me as a driver, when I was coming up through the ranks, I actually had a very hard time dealing with this. And it was an ego thing or whatever, because my thought was, well, you know, screw that guy. He parks it in the corner, and I'm going to carry my speed through here, and it's bullshit that I need to you know, get out of his way or lift or make his life easier. So for a long time, I would fight the faster car. And I paid for it in time. It's not the quick way. Trying to go too wide at the entry or too wide at the apex, it's not the quick way through the corner, okay? So if you're coming up and you see a faster car coming in your mirror and you're getting to the braking zone and you think it's going to be a little bit close, give a little lift, all right? I understand you might be in a low horsepower car. You'll want to keep on the throttle as long as you can, but that little lift or that slightly earlier brake, it may cost you a tenth, maybe 2. But fighting the car, all the way through the braking zone side by side, you can't turn until he does. Now you got to overslow the corner because he's over. It's not the way to do it. Let the guy get by you, and now you can both go into the corner, all right, on line. He might have to compromise his line a little bit, but he's going to flow way more speed into the corner if you're not fighting him all the way down to the turning point, okay? So let it happen. You'll be much happier. You will see much smaller time losses. And in this multi-class racing, if you get a clean lap, it's a shock. I mean, there's always passing going on, especially when there's 50, 60 cars in the field. There's always something going on. So you've really got to find a way to work with the other cars around you, especially the ones that are in a different class, okay? Once you start letting passes happen in a certain way, people are going to expect that from you. All right, so you've got to be predictable. Stay predictable. Whenever, this isn't like, we're not swapping drivers in and out. So it's not going to be a different person in the car halfway through the race. It's the same person driving the car. So if you drive a certain way, you've got to pretty much stick with that. If you change in the middle of the race, a guy that expects you, to leave the door open like you have the past 2-3 times he's passed, and now you slam the door on him, pretty good chance you're going to end up in an incident. okay? And then you can go and say, well, he didn't pass safely. So yeah, but you've gotten to the point where you've made him think something over and over again, and then all of a sudden you change it. It might be technically his fault because he didn't pass you safely, but you had a hand in that, you know, dilemma as well. And then be aware of your surroundings. Don't focus too much on the passing car. Like I said before, you could miss your braking point, and you know that could get you turning in really late, you know, slowing down your lap time, or it could take you off the track completely miss your braking point, sail it off, and now your race, you know, you're digging out of the hole that you put yourself in. So be aware of your surroundings, be aware of cars catching you, but don't be staring in your rearview mirror all the way down the braking zone wondering, you know, what's going to happen, and then you look up and you're off the track. All right, so focus forward. If you follow the rules, you don't have to be so concerned about that car, because if you're doing it right and they're doing it right, it's all going to work out. All right, so the passing car. Expect the unexpected as well. All right, till you get familiar with the other cars on track, be ready for anything. But again, you never know. That guy could at some point say, "Hey, I'm tired of everyone, you know, passing. This is ridiculous," and he could change his attitude. So be aware. Every time you pass somebody, there's risk involved. Okay. The fast car should be predictable. Okay, and make your intentions obvious. All right. Half-hearted moves is usually what leads to an incident. Okay, so make your intentions known early through your car placement. All right. For example, and this has happened to me, I'm in a slower car and a faster, you know, class has caught me, and he follows me down the braking zone all the way to the corner, and then as soon as I turn into the corner, he darts into the right-hand side and kapow. All right. If you're going to make this move, put the car over, you know, move the car width over, get alongside nice and early, make your intentions known, okay? If you follow him all the way down the brake zone and wait for him to turn into the corner, you can't stick your nose in that. That's too late, all right? Got to get it done early in the braking zone if you're going to make a move like that. Move to the side that you intend to pass on, you know, early enough so it's understood, all right? Again, not falling all the way down, then popping around, all right? You're in a different class car, okay? You should easily be able to get up alongside and make it happen. If you're hearing creaking, I'm not farting on camera. It's my chair. Or so I say. All right, so if you're going to pass in the braking zone, don't move over right in front of the other car, okay? And jam on your brakes, all right? You're going to have, you know, stronger brakes probably than that car, and you're going to probably catch that guy out a little bit, all right? So don't be, you know, getting up alongside, swerving over to the left, jamming on the brakes, and then turning into the corner. You've got to be mindful of the guy behind you, all right? Have some respect. So you could cause him to rear end you. You could cause him to go off the track. Just, you know, be cordial, be kind. The slower car, he can't just disappear. All right, so you've got to leave that car with. All right, if you're not going to get by him completely and clear him, and you go into the corner, make sure you leave him ample space. Okay. Be aware of your closing rates and anticipate the slower car's braking point too. Slower car is probably, you know, pretty good chance he's going to brake deeper than you. So if you think you're going to catch him at a certain point and you start braking and he's still not braking, he's still carrying the speed into the braking zone, anticipate that, because now you are going to get to the point where you've committed, and if he's not aware that you're kind of sailing it in there, you can have an incident at turn-in. So be aware of their braking point. It's usually going to be deeper. They're going to be a lighter brake into the corners. That's just the way it is. So if you can't get the pass done in the early stage of the braking zone, your risk factor is going to increase. And also be aware of different lines for different cars. Some cars, especially someone who's not that experienced yet, they might have a pretty late turn in. I've been burned by that before. The door's wide open, and I commit to the corner, and all of a sudden the sharp turn down into me, and we have contact just before the apex. And be aware of that. Getting to drive with people that over an extended period of time, you can start to figure out these patterns. But be aware of someone who looks like they're way offline coming into a corner. Don't assume that they're leaving the door open for you on purpose. Okay, there's a very good chance that that door is going to close quickly, and you're going to get tangled up. So try to avoid late passes. In the heat of battle, I know. What are you going to do if there's another car with you, and you guys are for a position and you're coming up on a lap car or out of class car? Sometimes your hand may be forced, but be smart about it too. If you think it's not going to happen, this is too late, this isn't going to happen, don't force it too much if you don't have to. I mean, last lap might be different, but if you don't have to force it, maybe don't. And the guy behind you might try and force it, and he'll get into trouble and have contact. I've had that situation with me too. Stayed out of it, and the guy decides he's going to go for it, and guess what? There's two cars spinning off the track, and now I don't have any pressure. So you've always got to weigh the risks. There's always a risk and reward involved, and you've always got to do these quick kind of mental calculations as you're driving. The best pass you can have is one with the least amount of risk, okay? But there's always risk involved. You could pass someone in the middle of they're on the, dead ball straightaway, okay? We are not near any corner, and you come up on a guy and pass and go on by. There's still a chance that for some unknown reason, as you pass him, he could stare in his mirror. And I've seen many people look in their mirror and turn the wheel as they look. They look and turn just like that. So you think you've got that, couple foot buffer, and then all of a sudden, here he comes. So be ready for that. You don't need to be stuck like glue to the side of that car, but you want to stay close enough that they don't lose track of you. I've seen that so many times when a guy will be coming to pass somebody, and the car in front is on line, and the guy in the back who's going to initiate the pass goes to the complete opposite side of the track. Now this car has lost complete track of you. He has no idea where you are. Okay, so you want to stay somewhat close to that car so he can keep an eye on you and he knows where you're at. Focus on where you want to go. All right. So just like the other car I was talking about, if you get caught up in the moment and you start staring at the bumper of the other car, your focus has been lost now on the track, and you're just focusing on that car, and whatever that car does, you're going to do. So same thing as you're approaching the slower car, you pretty much have to look through that car and see your points through that car. And imagine, it's not there as far as your braking points, things like that. Because if you start focusing on what that car does, now you're at his mercy. If he makes a mistake, you're gonna make a mistake. So you're kind of, setting yourself up for failure. I already talked about staying tight. And again, if you're approaching a corner, okay, and it's kind of a late pass, and you're getting to your turn-in point, the closer you are to that car, the better your line is going to be through the corner, so you can get through quicker. And then it's also going to make his line better too, because he's going to be able to turn in from the if it's a right-hander, from the left-hand side of the track. So you want to be able to stay close, so you have the best line through the corner, so you can get through the corner as quickly as you can. And assuming you're in a faster class car, you should be quicker through that corner. So it's a corner that you're quicker through, that compromise will still be above the slower cars, max speed to the corner. So don't compromise your line too much. Stay tight to him, okay? And then turn into the corner, and it's going to give both of you the best speed through the corner, okay? And it also reduces the risk of a collision in the corner, past the turning point or down at the apex. Again, if you're on the extreme, wrong side of the track, you're gonna meet at the apex. You're gonna meet at the apex. So stay tight, hold them out, turn in. All right, so those were the techniques. Now here are some ways that you can develop these abilities, and especially in iRacing or any kind of game that unlimited resets are available, because the cost of learning after you've bought the computer and the game is nothing other than your time. You don't have to pay for tires. You don't have to pay for the hotel. You don't have to pay for lunch. You don't have to, none of that stuff. You're here, you sit down, you do some work, and that's it. Okay? So get comfortable with your surroundings before you start racing. In the real world, it's expensive, and I think people make the jump a little bit too soon many times because they don't want to go down the road of spending the money and investing the time. Well, in iRacing or any type of sim, like I said, you've invested the money once, now just the time, okay? And take the time to do it, all right? If you have you're planning on doing a race, okay? You know the car and you know the track. Get in the car, do some test drives, and see how your times stack up to be, if you're competitive or not. If you're not competitive, you've got to spend some time working, all right? There's no way in hell that you're going to be able to race somebody, okay, competitively, and you're, 10 seconds off the, the time. It's not going to happen. There's no way. And honestly, you're probably going to be a danger out there. You're going to be on, both sides of the track. You have no clue. You're lost, all right? Take the time to get comfortable with the car, the track, all your stuff. I mean, a lot of people, they come from the real world and they're like, oh man, I was so fast. And then they get in the sim and they're like, son of a bitch, like what gives? It's like starting back in the novice run group if you're into that, track day stuff. Or becoming a rookie racer again. It's not only like learning a whole new car, it's like learning a whole new, skill set. It's so different. I mean, it's similar, but it is different. I mean, if you have a basic rig, there's no, feel of G's, there's no risk of injury, it's so different that's the one thing I see a lot of people who are coming from the real world, they're getting frustrated rather quickly. You got to give it time. You got to think about how long did it take me to get to that point in the real world. This is no different. You're going to have to invest some time and effort, and, don't rush it. That's the worst thing that could happen. People who move up too quickly in the real world, right? That usually leads to incidents, accidents, injuries, money gone, that kind of stuff. So when you're here driving in the simulator world, take the time to get proficient, and then you can start thinking about racing. All right. So that's one thing that I think a lot of people need to do a self-check, and it's hard to do. I mean, there's ego involved here. It's racing, race car drivers. Come on. So look in the mirror, be self-critical, and if you're not ready, be able to admit that. Okay, and then just invest the time and effort, and you'll get there. All right, you'll get there. And you can learn. You can learn from, God help me, I'm going to say YouTube, and this is on YouTube, so take it for what it's worth, free advice, right? But there are good videos on YouTube, and there's some crap videos on YouTube also. I hope you consider this a good one. Driving schools, private coaching, there's ways to learn and move your progress along quicker than just driving laps. If you're just driving laps by yourself and you're not improving, you're wasting your time. All right, have a plan. All right, get your ducks in a row. I'm going to work on this, this, and this, go do it. And then if you're having trouble still, go educate yourself. You've got the tools out there. It's out there. We've got Google. It's amazing. The world has all the answers now. Go on Google. Do some Googling. All right. So let's say you've now gotten your times competitive. You're not, lost on the track. You think you might be ready to do some racing. There's a thing that's called ghost racing. All right. So what'll happen is you're just as it sounds. Your car is a ghost. So you'll end up on the grid with everybody. The race will go, and no one will see you. You will see everybody else racing, but no one will see your car. So when you screw up the braking point for turn one and go through 3 cars that are in front of you, nothing happens. They're not affected by your mistake. Okay, and if you notice these mistakes happening a lot, it's a pretty good indicator that you're not ready yet. All right, so focus on hitting your marks, driving clean laps, and trying not to have any contact, even though it can't really be, no real contact happens because you're the ghost. Get to the point where you can do a clean race, and then you can start thinking about it. And another great way to practice is private sessions. Host a race, invite some people, invite some friends, and try and find some people who have experience. Like I said, I think this is a little bit harder than the real world, because in the real world, I go to a race weekend, especially at the club level, there's 30, 40 guys there, and the vast majority of them want to be your friend and they want to see you do well, because the better you do, the chances are they're going to have a better race too. So they are invested in getting you up to speed. All right, they want to help you along. They don't want to, have a rolling chicane out there. They don't want to think their car's going to get balled up because somebody's not paying attention. They don't want to get hurt because somebody's not with it. So they have an investment in you also. In the sim world, I think it's harder. Okay, you do your race with a bunch of people you've never seen, most likely, or they're thousands of miles away, and you do your 25 minutes, and then you sign off and you're gone, and that's it. There is nothing after. There's no, tightness. There's no beers afterwards, nothing like that. So I think it's actually a little bit harder in this world to find a mentor, find someone who's willing to put the effort in to help you along. So if you can get with somebody like that, do some practice sessions with them, get some help, and that I think will actually pay the biggest dividends for you. All right. Squeaky chair. In the actual iRacing game itself, there is a little black box in your bottom right corner, and it's called the black box. You can change all sorts of information. It can be your lap time, the session, and whatever you want. What tires you're going to get, things like that when you go in for a pit stop. What I find the most useful information for me during one of these multi-class races is the relative time. Your relative time is just as it sounds. It's got, I think it's like 3 or 4 guys in front of you and probably 3. I think it's 3 guys in front of you, maybe 4, and 3 or 4 guys behind you. And, their time. So you can look. Okay, Mike Smith, he's 5 seconds ahead of me. Joe Blow, he's 10 seconds behind me. And then as you're driving around, you notice, Joe Blow is pretty fast. He's catching me. That lap went from 10 seconds to 8. It'll also show you if you're on the same lap or a different lap, as well as if they're in a different class. Okay? So this is an absolutely crucial piece of information that you're going to want if you have a multi-class race. So you can anticipate who's catching you, if it's for position, if it's in class, that kind of stuff. So get that box on relative. Trust me, you want it. Make sure your settings are all correct as far as your field of view mirror. If you're using it, I suggest using it. I don't know how it works with VR, but with the triple screen, I use that more than the other mirrors in the car. The other mirrors in the car, to me, like the ones that are actually on the doors, and if you actually use the real rear view mirror, the space of it's just not right. The car always looks much closer, at least to me, than it really is. You'll have the car gets real big in that left side mirror, and then you look up in the field of view mirror, and he's pretty damn far back. Like, you look in another mirror, you're like, ooh, I don't even know if I can turn in. I might hit this guy. And in reality, it's not even close. So I actually find those other mirrors to be more of a distraction to me, and I just use the field of view mirror. And then I have a triple screen set up, so my field of view is pretty wide. I can see quite a bit out the sides, so I'm never really worried about side-to-side contact. I've been able to keep a pretty good track of people using the field of view mirror, and then having my cockpit set up. And then also you can your point of view inside the car, you can move yourself back in the car or up or down without screwing up your field of view. Look it up on YouTube. There's a really good one. It's called Point of View versus Field of View. You can totally geek out on that if you want. But basically what it says is, once you use the equation that iRacing has for your field of view, don't mess with it, okay? And then you can move your camera angle inside the car. They call that your point of view, okay? So you can move yourself back. You can move yourself so far back that you see the sides of the halo on the containment seat. So you have options as far as sitting in the car, okay? Get that to where you like it. Quality seat time. Make sure you've always got a plan, like I said. And the more time you spend racing, the more experience, the more you see, So you start building a memory bank of different scenarios. And after you do it enough, you'll look at something, a situation, and you'll be like, I've seen this before, and it hasn't ended well for me in the past. I'm not going to do it. If you're learning. Some people see it and say, YOLO, I'm going in. Don't be that guy. Learn from your mistakes, and also learn from what works well too, okay? You see this, I've done this before, you go for it, okay? So build the memory bank up, and then things will become more automatic. And this is something that I think is very helpful. Once you've kind of figured everything out and you're competitive, you're running really good laps, walk a mile in someone else's shoes. When I was driving, I always had a lower horsepower, lower class car, just because that's what my budget was, and that's what I could do. And it's also, I thought, was the best way to learn. I wanted to learn in a slower car, a spec car, and get good at that before moving up. And like I said before, I'd always have trouble dealing with the fast cars until I figured it out and kind of grew up and said, okay, this is the way this needs to be done. I'm not doing it right. So now when I do the sim racing, Cayman GT4, that costs $11.95. Yeah, I'm buying it. It's not even a question. So I'm not driving the Jetta anymore, or the Miata or anything. Great car, fine, whatever. Well, not the Jetta, I don't know. But now I can drive the fast car. It's great, but it's also scary, because now anybody with $11.95 can drive the fast car. But like I'm saying, if you're always driving the fast car, maybe you should spend some time in the slow car. See what it's like to be in that situation. See what it's like to have somebody just barrel in on you as soon as you want to turn to the corner and totally blow your lap. You can't make that time up now. It's over. See what it's like to be the other guy, all right? And I think if more people do that, I think that we'll have an opportunity for more people to learn, and I think the respect level will go up too. Because if you can hustle a low horsepower car around the track at a very respectable time, that takes hard work, and any little loss of time, it's just the penalty for it is exponentially severe. So if you drive a fast car all the time, get in the slow car for a little bit and see what it's like. And if you drive the slow car all the time, get in the fast car. All right? You can realize how much of a pain in the ass you could be, like I was. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. So spend some time driving other cars, see what that's like. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'm sure everyone will have opinions and thoughts and things like that. But this is just what I've experienced through club racing, pro racing, and a lot of instructing and coaching, seeing a lot of laps. And these are the biggest things that I think we can all learn from and improvements that we can all make. So hope to see you guys again on another video. Otherwise, be safe, and see you at either the virtual track or the real track, hopefully the real track soon. All right, take care. Bye. All right, hello everybody. I'm going to start over right now. Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Handwork, and I'm going to talk to you about starting over. Hey everyone, I want to talk to you tonight